Good evening, everybody. My name is Byron Murphy. I'm the livestock inspector, District 23, cover McKinley and Cibola County. So I've been with the livestock board for 9 years now, and I'm just making sure. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, definitely clear.
So, so yeah, I've been with the livestock board for 9 years now. I'm a certified police officer for 8 years now, and we do have state jurisdiction, but my main district is Gallup and McKinley County and Cibola County. So one of the main deals that we set, or one of the main setbacks that we have, is jurisdictional issues. We do not have jurisdiction over Navajo Nation or any tribal land. So we do have, there is, people are confused about having having a state brand. They think that if they have a state brand, that they're automatically covered by the New Mexico Livestock Board. So a state brand, that's just a way that just gives you a way to identify what is yours. So, but that doesn't allow us to override the Navajo Nation, and that's one of our biggest issues. Is from what I hear, it is hard to get service from the Navajo Nation Rangers, and a lot of people think that we can just um, jump over them, and so that's something that we can't do. So if it unless it happens, something happens on state land, then we can act on it. But um, is there any questions so far about jurisdiction?
None for me.
I am trying to. I'm still trying to get on from the computer. It's not letting me get on with the computer.
Byron, maybe if you can share your PowerPoint presentation with Terrell, if that would help you.
I am trying to. It's not letting me log on through the computer, but so right now I'm just on my phone.
Hmm. Um,
We're actually at a gun range right now. But the main thing about this webinar is just to answer any questions. If anybody has any questions on the services that New Mexico Livestock Board New Mexico Livestock Board provides, we do inspections. We inspect cattle going throughout the state of New Mexico or leaving New Mexico. So if you do have a state brand, we can do an inspection for you if you live on the reservation, as long as we're invited onto the reservation. So with the state of New Mexico, if you do live in New Mexico, you do have to abide by state law and also tribal law. So once you come off of the reservation, you have to abide by Navajo or tribe or state law. So in order to leave the state, you do have to have an inspection on cattle. And if you do not have an inspection and you take them out of state, you could be charged with a third-degree felony. So that's how serious it is to take cattle out of the state of New Mexico without an inspection.
So Byron,
Yes.
I have a question. So if I was to take my cattle to Cortez, and if I call in for like with a number, would that work?
No. So if you're taking them to another sale barn or anywhere out of the state of New Mexico, you do have to get a an inspection. If you live on the Navajo Nation, you can either get a tribal inspection, which is called a resale permit, or you can go through our agency if you have a state brand and get it's called a Form 1 inspection. So the only time you can call and get a permit number is if you go to an in-state auction. So cattle going from Gallup to Berlin, you guys got to call Cattlemen's Livestock Auction and get a hauling permit. Or if you're just taking them to cow house, if they, like I said, if the cattle live in New Mexico, you can get a hauling permit from cow house. If they come from out of state, and that's where we deal a lot with out of state cattle coming in from Arizona, they have to get an entry permit number. So an entry permit number you can get that just by calling the sale barn. They'll give you a 5-digit number and they'll start with SEP. They'll ask you what you're bringing to the sale barn, how many, and if any of them are showing any signs of disease. And if you answer no to that, they will issue a entry permit number. And if you show up to the sale barn without that, that is a misdemeanor crime, and you could get a ticket for that. So the only time you can get a permit number is if you're going to a in-state sale barn. But if you're taking them out of state, you do need to get an inspection.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have any more questions about jurisdiction or the transporting livestock towards the sale barn?
No, I don't.
Okay. So when you're transporting livestock in New Mexico, one of the requirements in order to transport them, we have different districts. And that's where I'm trying to get on with the computer, and it won't let me show my desktop.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
If I am transporting, let's say I live on the checkerboard area of New Mexico,
Okay.
and let's say I sell one head of a steer or a cow or to a person that lives in Arizona on the Navajo Nation. Would I still need that? Who would I get the permit from? Would that be from the Navajo Nation?
You have a state brand, or do you
I
have a
have a
tribal?
state. I have a state brand.
Okay. So what you can do is you can get a hold of one of our inspectors and you can get an inspection, or you can go through some of the grazing officials can do that resale permit. It's just an inspection, but it should be inspected before you take them to Arizona.
Okay, that
So-
would be either by the New Mexico livestock inspector or one of the grazing officials.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so-
Is there a document number a particular document that we ask for?
It is. So with the New Mexico Livestock Board, you can just ask for an inspection. The tribal with the Navajo Nation Rangers and the grazing officials, it's called a resale permit.
Okay.
I myself have a hard time trying to find out who can do those for people on the reservation.
Right.
So if you do have a state brand, I find it easier just to contact our department.
Okay.
So like I said, we do come out, we can do the inspections for you just as long as we're invited onto the reservation.
Okay. And what are the fees for an inspection?
So we do have a $10 service charge to come out there. We charge 50 cents per head. And when you are selling, we have to add a dollar charge for the Federal Beef Council and another dollar for the New Mexico Beef Council. If you sell out of the state of New Mexico, say you're selling, like you said, you're selling to somebody in Arizona,
Uh-huh.
we can waive the New Mexico dollar, the New Mexico Beef Council. So if you take 2 head and you sell to somebody in Arizona,
Uh-huh.
what you'll be charged is a dollar for the inspection, $10 service fee, and then $2 for the Federal Beef Council. So that'll be $13.
Okay.
But if you sell in the state of New Mexico, you get charged the federal and the New Mexico Beef Council. So it'll be $2.50 per head plus a $10 service fee.
Okay, the service fee or the fee, the dollar fee for the Federal Beef Council and the New Mexico Beef Council, that's just one flat fee, right? It's not per head?
Yeah, it's just one flat fee. Or no, it is. You
It's
said
per,
the beef council, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that the beef council and the inspection fee, which is 50 cents per head.
Uh-huh.
So all that is per head. The only
Okay.
one that's a flat fee is the service charge.
okay,
So if you sell out of state, you'll pay $1.50 per head plus the service charge. And if you sell in state, it'll be $2.50 per head plus the service charge. So if you are not selling, you don't have to pay the beef council. So it'll just be the 50 cents per head plus the service charge.
okay,
So on horses, we do offer a lifetime hauling permit. And that is $35 a horse. We do have to take 3 pictures of the horse. That once you get that done, you never have to get another hauling permit done again on that horse unless you sell it. So, and if you ever lose that hauling permit, you can get a hold of us. We'll give you the number of the permit. You call the office and they'll charge you $10 for a copy.
okay. That lifetime hauling permit, that's they won't honor that on the Navajo Nation? Navajo Nation
They
Ranger?
will.
They will?
They will. Yes.
Okay, okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They sure will. So just like we'll honor any of the tribal inspections that we get. So is there any more questions about the sale barn or transporting livestock? One of our features with New Mexico Livestock Board, can you guys see my website?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the problems that I notice with the people on the reservation is looking up brands. With our department, New Mexico Livestock Board, we have all that online. So if you go to our website, this is how you navigate through our website. If we do have anything new, we do have it under the what's new tab. Our job openings, we always have job openings. Some of our inspectors are required to go through the police academy within 1 year of hire. And this is where the import and export, this is where you can find out what is required as far as transporting cattle either throughout the state of New Mexico or out of New Mexico or bringing them into New Mexico. So this is where we do come up with, we do have all of our requirements, kind of this cheat sheet. So this is our horse requirements. So interstate movement, out of state movement. So this is where you can find a lot of our information. A lot of our laws and our regulations are pretty much word for word. It's like Navajo Nation just copy and pasted. So a lot of what our laws are is the same as what Navajo Nation requires. When you are missing cattle, what you can do is you can get a hold of your local inspector. If you live in San Juan or whatever district you live in, you can get a hold of your inspector and do a lost or a missing report. And this is where it gets posted. It gets posted on our website. And this loss report gets emailed to every inspector in the state of New Mexico. So these are all of our missing cattle reports. Also our found equine and our stray notices, whatever's been sold. So this is our personnel directory. So if you can see the state here, this breaks down all our districts. So this is the district that I cover. I also help with Farmington. So what you can do is you can click on that district and it'll tell you what the inspector's name is and the supervisors. So you can find out if you guys need to get a hold of somebody in Roswell with the sale barn in Roswell. That's how easy it is to find any of our inspectors' contact info with our department. And this is our brand department. This is where you can find all the forms to renew a brand, apply for a brand. You can get a blank livestock bill of sale. So when you guys are buying cattle, one of the things that I've noticed is people are buying cattle and they're not getting a bill of sale. So if you say you buy a steer from me and it has my brand on it, you can go ahead and put your brand on it. You're supposed to rebrand within 30 days, but you also have to show proof of the transaction of my brand. You got to show proof why your steer has my brand on it. So this is where you have to have a bill of sale. So Butler's does sell a book of bill of sales. You can buy it from Butler's. They're the carbon copy ones, or you can go to our website here and get a bill of sale here.
Byron,
Yes.
do you have to have it notarized?
No, you don't have to have it notarized. It's just best to, you just have to make sure you have the seller's signature. And it's
Thank you.
also good to have a witness sign it too. There is a place for a witness to sign it. So this is where our fees are. You can also see our fees here. This is that $10 service fee that we have. And then cattle and bison, it's 50 cents per head. Equines the same way. I don't deal with hide inspections in my district, but sheep and goats, I don't do a lot of sheep and goat inspections, but it's 16 cents per head. So a lot of our info is on, I think all of our info is on the website. That's one thing I'm really glad about the New Mexico Livestock Board is we try to put everything out there for you guys. So if you go to the brand search here, this is where you can search anybody's brand. So say you get a cow, or a lot of people get bulls that jump the fence. So you can search the characters here. Like say you get something that has an M. Brand location, say it's on the left hip. You can put LH. You can put H for horse, or you can put C for cow. Perform search. This is where you can search all the M brands that are on the left hip. So it does give you their mailing address. It doesn't give you their phone numbers. So this is a major tool for any of the producers out there. You do get strays on you that you need to figure out who they belong to. So this is a big tool that you can use. Does anybody have any questions on our website?
I have a question about your rebranding.
Okay.
If I buy a steer that's branded where my brand is located, where do I brand it at? Over it or?
You can't brand exactly on top of the brand. Okay. So if it's, say it's on the left hip, let me go here. Can you see where my cursor is at?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. So say the brand is right here and your brand goes on the left hip as well. You can brand here, or if you can get lower, you just have to find another spot. Say you bought a steer that has it on the left hip over here, and your brand is on the left hip. You have to find somewhere around that to where a blank spot where you can put your brand.
Okay, as long as it's in the general area, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
So horses don't have to be branded, but cattle do have to be branded. When you do get an inspection, this is what our inspections look like. So this is what you will be issued when you get an inspection. So it will be printed and it will be embossed with our department seal. Let's see, this person shipped 5 cows. They shipped 5 cows to Breen, Colorado. And that's where we charge them 50 cents per head, that equal $2.50 plus the service charge. And then we charge the Federal Beef Council. We didn't charge the New Mexico Beef Council because they sold out of state. So their total for 5 head was $17.50. So that's how we call those a Form 1 inspection. This is what our lifetime hauling permits look like. So these are printed out. These 3 blank boxes, these boxes here, these 3 will have the horse's picture in them, and it'll be embossed right here. This is what our lifetime hauling permits look like. So everything that we do it with our inspection software. And after we do it once a week, we sync our computers, and everything that we do through this with our inspections gets uploaded to our office in Albuquerque. So they can access any of our files in Albuquerque.
So Byron, how far back do you guys keep a record of?
I believe it's like 15 years. So anything that is electronic, that's how long they'll keep it. They went to computers probably 20 years ago. So I know they don't get rid of anything. So it's just the old paper copies they did get rid of some. So we got inspections probably 20 years old that are in our computer systems. Does anybody have any questions about any of the laws that they need clarified on? If you go to our links and documents here, this is all the rules with our ag rules with that deal with agriculture. But right here, chapter 77, this contains all of our livestock laws. I know with the Navajo Nation, it's hard to find where you can find what their laws state. Ours here, this is where you can find our laws. So one problem that we we do come across rarely is people will bring cows or calves into the sale barn and they will not have a brand on them. If you do not have a brand on a cow or calf, you can't prove ownership on them. And if you can't prove ownership, then we seize the cattle, they get sold, and the proceeds go to the state of New Mexico.
So Byron, if I was to sell a mommy and a baby,
Mhm.
and the baby's not brand, that's okay, correct?
If as long as the cow is branded and the calf is still sucking on the mom. If the calf is weaned and is no longer sucking, then it has to be branded. And if the brand is not peeled, then we can astray that as well. We can seize it and sell it. Does anybody have any questions? Anything they've seen on our website that they need more clarification on? Does anybody know what those metal tags look like that are in the ear of the grown cows that they usually put on the sale barn?
No.
There's a federal ID tag that gets put on anything that's over a year old at the sale barn. It's a metal clip, and I don't have one here, but we are going away from that.
Mr. Murphy, I have a question
Okay.
on the ear markings. Do all cattle have to have their ear markings? I know some people don't earmark their steers. Is that acceptable when you're selling?
There's a lot of people that don't have an earmark.
Right.
So an earmark is not required. The only thing that is required when to prove ownership or to sell is a brand that is peeled. So this is these new tags are starting to come out. They're called RFID tags. That is what the nationwide, that's what they're switching to. They're no longer doing the metal ID tags.
Do they deduct that when you sell?
Yes, they do deduct that. They tag them over there at the sale barn. So this is what they're changing to. Before, right now, what we're still using is the metal clips, and those starting November 5th, we're going to be switching to these RFID tags. And right now, you guys see these are the metal tags. So these are the metal clips that we're using right now. And anything that is over 18 months of age needs to have one of these ID tags. The only numbers that they start with 840. That is one of the things that we're switching to, and everything needs to have that. Our office will send you a set of free tags. You just tell them how big your herd is, and they'll send you the number. But as long as you have a premise ID, you can get a hold of me. We can sit down together. We can fill out the form for a premise ID. And all we need for that is you do have to have your state of New Mexico brand card. And we also have to get your GPS coordinates of where the main location of where your pins are at.
Byron,
Yeah.
there's a individual that has a question. He
Okay.
said, I have tried to register for the tags, but unable due to being on the Navajo Nation.
Okay. Is he messaging it, or do you have a New Mexico brand?
Hendrick. Oh, he said yes.
He does have a New Mexico brand.
Yes, he doesn't have a mic on his.
Okay. Does he have a do you have a premise ID? Okay, so that's what we need to work on getting you is we need to establish a premise ID. And that's where we need on the application, we can we need your GPS coordinates and your New Mexico brand card. Once we get that premise ID, the New Mexico Livestock Board should be able to send you a set of the RFID tags. And then you put that on all your cows. They'll send them to you for free, the tags. The only thing you have to purchase is the tagger. Okay, yeah, it says that there's due to no physical address. That's where your GPS coordinates will come in, and then the office will actually come. They'll look at your GPS coordinates and they'll come up with the directions. They'll word out the directions for your premise ID application. So that's all that's required to get those RFID tags on our website. If you need to renew your brand, you can renew your brand on here. You just need your master number and an email and a credit card. Those are that's the only update I have that's new within New Mexico is just the ID tags that we're switching to, and that's happening nationwide. That's a federal law that they're changing.
And that's to keep track of where the cattle's coming from, correct?
Yes.
What's the purpose of that, the tags?
They're just traceability, to be able to trace where they came from. One thing I do recommend for the producers on the Navajo Nation is getting their bulls trick tested. That's one thing that I think the Navajo Nation is lacking is enforcement on the trick laws, because we get a lot of bulls that come into the sale barn and they've never been trick tested, and that's a big gamble that the producers are taking by not getting their bulls trick tested. Because if a bull comes down with trick and it breeds the cows, those cows will lose their calves. So that there goes a majority of your calf crop for the next year. So, and then the bulls will never get rid of trick. You'll never get rid of trick, but it takes the cows 2 to 3 heat cycles to get rid of that disease. It's a STD for cattle, and it causes the cows to abort their calves. The bulls can be tested for it, and that's what we recommend for producers is to trick test their bulls before they turn them out, and trick test them back in when they get them back in.
There's a question on where to get those tests done.
The trick test, you have to take them to a vet that can do them. In my district, the only vet that does them is Airport Animal Clinic in Milan. Yeah, a lot of people they wait till they get to the sale barn to get their bulls trick tested, and by that time, if the bull has trick and it's been with your herd, that's a little too late there. And if your bull has trick and hops into the neighbor's fence and breeds their cows, there goes your neighbor's calf crop for the following year. So that's especially with how much calves are running right now. They're going to take a big hit in their wallet, and what they could eventually do is come back and sue you for not getting your bulls trick tested, because it is a state law in New Mexico that you're supposed to trick test your bulls before turning them out. So Larry King, I just seen your question here on the brand search. You can search their names, but most of the time you just have characters. But if you do have a name, I can do. So there comes my brand. So you can search for theirs if you do have a name. So the main thing that helps us is searching by the characters, using any of these right here and performing the search and putting the brand location here. So back to the trick, bovine trick. If you guys get a bull that's in on you, you don't know whose it is, I would work hard and get that bull pinned up. If it's on state land, I can enforce them to get their bull trick tested before they turn it back out, or we can even make it to where we don't release the bull back to them until they get the trick test done. So right now we do not have any trick in New Mexico, or not in, we don't have it in McKinley County, I'm sorry. But right here, right at the edge of my district, right by 26 right here, we have a big outbreak of trick. And we have a lot of people that are in quarantine. We have several ranchers that are in quarantine. When they're quarantined after the bulls are, they get rid of the bulls, they're sold for slaughter. And we put them on quarantine for 120 days. Nothing can leave that ranch unless we inspect them. And any adult cattle, we do put a fresh brand on them, and they can only be transported to the sale barn and sold for slaughter. That's one of our big setbacks, and just on the outside of my district.
So Byron, that's kind of close to like the Torreon area, is that?
Yep. It's actually on the other side of the mountain, near Laguna.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's that big mountain that runs across here. So it's actually on this side of the mountain. But the way this one started was they bought a bull from before we started doing this trick surveillance by testing every bull at the sale barn. What these guys did is they bought a bull from the sale barn, brought it back, turned it out with the herd. That bull had trick. And it went from one ranch, and it just kept going to another ranch until we finally got everything quarantined to where we got it stopped. So right now this area has been on quarantine for 4 years now. We have not been able to get rid of that trick.
Ooh.
This area. So
Byron,
yes.
4 years. I leased a bull from a private ranch close to Cuba.
Okay.
At the edge of Torreon. I don't know if I should name the ranch. It's a private, the Laguna Ranch. It's not infected. It's that ranch is not infected, is it?
No. No,
Okay.
that's not. There's a big mountain that runs through here. Mount Taylor comes off of Mount Taylor.
Yeah.
And this is on the east side of that mountain.
Okay. Well, he does get his bulls, all of them trick tests, so I guess I'm good. It's good then. Thanks.
So yeah, and if you guys are leasing, do what Larry does. Make sure that they're trick tested. Make sure you have the negative results, because it takes 7 to 10 days for those results to come in. So make sure they're trick tested, because you want to ensure that you're going to have a good calf crop next year. And if you get a dirty bull, you could lose your whole calf crop or half of it. And ask yourself right now, do you really want to take that hit in your wallet next year? Because basically all you're going to be doing is feeding cows for nothing for the next 2 years. So that's one of my main suggestions to the producers, is to make sure that you get your bulls trick tested. Make sure that, and spread the word. Let your neighbors know, hey, you need to get your bull trick tested. Tell them what the consequences are going to be. Tell them how, make them understand. That's the only way we're going to make sure our district here stays the way it is. That we don't have, thankfully, That's the only part in my district, and it's just right at the edge. Most of it's not in my district. It's mainly District 26 that has that problem. So, but we did start 2 years ago with the trick surveillance program, and that's where we're testing every bull that comes into the sale barn. Anything that is sold has to have a trick test. Even if you
Byron,
sell a bull to somebody in Arizona, we don't write the inspection until we know that it has a negative trick test. Go ahead.
I lease my bull from District 26 and I take it into 23. Am I supposed to have a hauling permit or something?
Yes, you're supposed to have an inspection. You need an inspection whenever you cross district lines on
Even from the
horses.
ranch? So who would
Yes.
do the inspection for the ranch when I pick it up?
So the one in Cuba,
Yeah, well, at the edge of Torreon boundary.
okay, so that one you would call the inspector right here, Lawrence Trujillo.
So would that be up to me or would that be up to the rancher that's leasing the bull to me?
The rancher should take the responsibility in getting that all done before you pick the bull up.
Uh-huh.
But that's also your responsibility that he did it.
Okay, so when I'm through with the bull, take it back from 23
Yeah.
to back to 26, then you would need to do inspection.
Yes.
Or would I also, I know a Lambert member that lives close by. Can he do that too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So if you live on the Navajo reservation, you do have that option of getting tribal inspections, and anybody in the state of New Mexico will honor a tribal inspection. But yes, you do need an inspection whenever you cross district lines, and these are the district lines. So if you guys ever wonder if you need an inspection, this is where you guys can go. You can go to our website and see what our district lines look like. Now, if you're just hauling, say, Larry, you were hauling your bull to Grants to get it trick tested to go back, because some leasers require that. They'll trick test the bull when you pick it up, before you pick it up, and then they'll say trick test it before you bring it back. Some
Byron,
do that. So say you're hauling the bull from Gallup to Grants to get it trick tested, that you don't need an inspection.
another question.
Okay.
Okay, if you know the ranch that I'm talking about, since it doesn't show the topo map, I'm not sure if the boundary covers the ranch that I'm talking about. It's about 20 miles north of Torreon, or it's Cuba.
It's the one I always inspect for you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're in District 26.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because mine ends right by Pueblo Pintado. So Torreon's actually out of my district.
Well, Byron, if you do you share out that information like with the producers if they ask? And then another question is, do you have like brochures or flyers or just anything that we can have to educate our producers?
On the trick, we do not. The only thing that we to educate them would be like the import and export requirements, which you can find on this tab here. When we do put a ranch on quarantine for having a trick outbreak, we do notify all the neighboring ranches. So like the requirements for movement, this is where you can find those. And those are actually little flyers that anybody can access. So they tried to take just the main laws that people, our required to follow, the main ones that they need to know about. That's where they tried to put it here on the website. Does anybody else have any questions? So like I said, we are certified police officers. We do stop people that are hauling livestock. I remember I stopped Larry King. Larry King was one of the first guys I stopped when I got out of the police academy. He was hauling a calf that he was taking to the vet clinic.
Did he
With a
get
broken
ticket?
arm.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys, another thing I can suggest is when you guys are missing cattle, please report it right away. A lot of times what I get is I get a call, hey, I'm missing, I haven't been able to find 10 cows. Okay, when's the last time you seen them? Probably about 6 months ago. And those cows by that time can be long gone. So the faster we can get these notices put up, the more I see them. So that if you are missing something, report it right away. And if you find it, let us know. But that's one of the big dilemmas is people wait too long to let us know what is missing. So it's better to get it out there early. And if you found it, then if you found it, then you can let us know. We can take the ad down. But yeah, again, if you guys need to find an inspector, you guys need to get a hold of anybody, this is where you go. Easy access. So we got 2 inspectors in Farmington. One's actually in the police academy right now. So that's why I'm helping out with District 6. Got quite a bit in Albuquerque. Does anybody have any questions? Don't be
So,
afraid to ask questions. The more questions you guys ask, the more I can help you
so,
on.
Byron, like if we ask, if you're like really busy and we were trying to get a hold of you,
Uh-huh.
can we call like other inspectors or they'll refer me back to you?
So by law, you guys have to give me 48 hours and notice. And if I absolutely cannot make it to when you guys want to move the cattle, I will work with you guys. Say Shirley, you were gonna send cattle to Alamogordo. If I'm so busy and I can't make it, what I will do is I'll call Skylar Davis and say, hey, I can't get to these cattle. I can't get to them. They want to leave by this day. Is there any way you can inspect them when they get there? So that's what I can do to help you guys out. The main thing I don't want to do is hold you guys back. But if you guys call me, if you guys call me right now, want me to be out there first thing in the morning, that's when we're gonna have problems.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So, but yeah, as long as you guys give me enough time notice, I will work with you guys every which way I can.
Does anybody have any more questions out there? If not, we have like polls that I can put up now.
Okay. But yeah, I was sorry about that, guys. My PowerPoint wouldn't work. The hard part is I don't have an office. We do have our main office here in Albuquerque, and we're just all over the place right now. I'm sitting at a gun range because I am a firearms instructor. So I'm sitting at a gun range here in Albuquerque. I want to thank you, Shirley. Thank you everybody for logging in tonight. And if you guys do have any, if you guys have any questions that you guys do think about, don't be afraid to call. You can leave a voicemail. This is my work cell number. If you're not sure on something, just give me a call. It's better you make sure that you guys are in compliance rather than get in trouble and us end up having to write you a ticket or seize your cattle. So if ever in doubt, give us a call.
So Byron, like if you give me a ticket, what does that mean?
If
Do I have to,
you will have to go to court.
okay,
Yeah. So the one thing that's different about our tickets is we don't have a set fee. Like you get a speeding ticket, you get the option of just paying the ticket or going into court because they have those fees set already. Our tickets are different. You go into court and the judge actually sets the fee. So, and our fines are pretty hefty. So, and you will go to court wherever whatever jurisdiction the ticket was wrote in. So, if anywhere in McKinley County, you will go to court in Gallup. If you get one in Farmington, you go to the San Juan court up there. I believe that one's in Aztec.
so for example, what's the kind of like the fee for somebody that got a ticket?
Okay, let's go to here. It's documents. We have one guy that just he took a bunch of fresh brand cabs into the sale barn. They didn't take the cabs away from them, but what they did was they cited him for every one. They ended up dropping it to just one count, and he what you call it, I think he got 3 years probation. They didn't. He took the 3 years probation instead of paying the fine. The,
Meaning he can't sell or transport animals?
no, he's just on probation. If he violates probation, he can go back. He will go to jail. So if he even gets a speeding ticket, find penalties here. Most of our crimes are petty misdemeanors and misdemeanors. So if you get a misdemeanor, you can get fined up to $1,000 or spend 1 year in jail. A petty misdemeanor is fined up to $500 and serve 6 months in jail. So that's what the fines would go up to. Anywhere, if it's a misdemeanor, it'd be up to $1,000 or a year in jail. So if you that fresh brand, that was a petty misdemeanor. So if you bring a fresh brand calf into the sale barn, you could face up to a $500 fine per head and serve up to 6 months in jail. Now, some of our laws go into felonies. And felonies are a lot worse, and the district attorneys are what take those crimes. And are like larceny of livestock. A lot of people ask a long time ago, I guess it was a person could be hung for stealing cattle. So right now that was under cattle rustling. So we changed that statute to cattle larceny of cattle. So that's a third degree felony.
Good to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So we just had one case. This producer lost 6 head of heifers, and this is on a tribal ranch. A person found them on their ranch. He notified everybody he couldn't know. Another guy showed up and claimed them. So the guy that found the 6 head, he believed him, turned them over to this guy, and this guy that claimed them ended up selling one back to him. So it turns out that those weren't even his, and that the victim came forward later, figured everything out, talked to the guy that bought one of them, and so now they can't find the other 5. And all this happened on the Navajo Nation ranches. And that was one of the setbacks there, is that we had everything to charge for larceny of cattle, but since it was a tribal ranch, we could not charge them. We didn't have any. They all had state brands, but we couldn't charge them with the crime just because of where it happened. So now they're trying to get Navajo Nation to pursue the case, and from what I hear, it's not going anywhere. So
Anybody have any other questions?
Do you have jurisdiction on checkerboard?
it depends on what you mean by checkerboard.
On allotted lands?
Allotted lands, that's going to still be Navajo Nation.
Okay.
So if it's state land, so say in that checkerboard area, if it's state land and it's completely surrounded by Navajo Nation, the Navajo Nation has jurisdiction there. So it's a big mess when it comes to these jurisdictional issues. BLM, if it's surrounded by Navajo Nation will have jurisdiction. Even going down 491, that's a state highway, but if there's Navajo Nation land on both sides of the highway, it's Navajo Nation jurisdiction.
Any other questions? Byron, we thank you for your time and also navigating us through your website. I'm glad to learn another tool which I can use to help producers, especially ranchers. And yeah, we appreciate your time, even though we had a little rough start, but we really appreciate your time and you explaining to us how to navigate your website.
Sure, appreciate you guys for having me.
Yes, thank you for taking the time. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and share some upcoming events that the Navajo Sustainable Agriculture Program is going to conduct. Okay, so coming up next week on Wednesday is another webinar. It's going to be understanding basic external and internal parasite control in sheep and goats webinar. I'm excited for that webinar. Again, you can find information at our website, which is the nsa.nmsu.edu. Followed by, this is going to be an in-person workshop. This is going to be in Notchitty. This is the Dehydrating Food and Preservation in-person workshop. At the last workshop, we made salsa. It was very good, I thought. It's from 12 to 2. Again, it's in Notchitty Chapter House. That's going to be 12 to 2, October 17th on a Thursday. And lastly is going to be another webinar, which is going to be hydroponics in our backyard. It's going to be 5:30 to 6:30, our usual time on October 23rd. It's going to be presented by Jeff Anderson from Doña County Horticulture Extension Agent. And you can find more information at our website again. And we just want to reiterate that our Navajo Sustainable Agriculture Program provides technical assistance for farmers and ranchers. And to help them produce conservation plans is our main goal. And we usually have one workshop for farmers and one workshop for ranchers every month. You can request a workshop by calling early or reaching out through our NSA project at newmexicostate.edu. Again, we just want to thank Brian for his time and explaining the website for the New Mexico Land Board. And we just want to say thank you from myself, Terrell, and Mikkel, who's currently not here, and Shirley. Have a good evening, everybody.
My name is Shirley Toad. I'm the NSA project specialist. I'm excited to be here with you all and look forward to a productive webinar. First of all, I'd like to share, can you see my screen? I'm admitting a lot of people here, so I have a lot of screen.
It's not the full screen, it's still your showing the sides. If you under the COPE signal, if you go to you see this Navajo Sustainable, and then you go to the bottom right corner.
Okay.
If you go take your cursor, move it down to the bottom right.
Okay. Mine is upstairs. And then go where?
Under the COPE signal on Navajo Sustainable Agriculture, do you see COPE? And then
yes.
Go down.
Okay.
Go down to that little to the left. That icon. Oh, too far. The last icon. Last one. Next one. That one. There you go.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, you guys. Anyway, my name is Shirley Toth, and I work with the Navajo Sustainable Agriculture Project. The Navajo Sustainable Agriculture is a New Mexico cooperative extension service. We are dedicated to providing technical assistance and support to our livestock producers. We collaborate with Diné College, Land Grant Office, Community Outreach and Patient Empowerment COPE. And then our project is funded by the U.S. Outreach and Assistance for Social Disadvantaged Farmers and Ranchers. Our goal is to improve the operation of profitability and sustainability of social disadvantaged farmers and ranchers. and veteran farmers and ranchers. So increase now increase the knowledgeable of the Navajo farmers, ranchers, and veteran farmers. We educate our producers with sorry about that, you guys, my throat is itchy. We knowledge and use of USDA. We help our producers like get funded through FSA and NRCS programs. And those of programs, those of service of and resources providers like the Navajo Nation program, the Wolf Buy program, and stuff like that. And then also increase the local production and consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables and healthy food by Navajo families and individuals.